Welcome home, neighbors.
Welcome home, neighbors.
Hello, neighbors.
We're listening from
Arizona,
Florida,
Maryland, New York, New Jersey,
Minneapolis,
California,
Utah,
Michigan.
Iowa,
Massachusetts,
Georgia, Canada,
Our home resort is
Animal Kingdom,
Polynesia,
Bay Lake Tower,
Old Key West,
Riviera,
Boardwalk,
Alani Resort,
Hilton Head,
Boulder Ridge, Copper Creek,
Grand Floridian,
Saratoga Springs,
Beach Club,
and Wilderness Lodge.
and you're listening to
and you're listening
You're listening
to
my
to my
Welcome home, neighbors, to episode 149 of Community Hall Live. My name is Chad, and I am your host tonight. Tonight, we're doing a trip report show with our buddy Ron Schammert as a new owner at the Villas at Disneyland Hotel. Before we get into our content tonight, if you'd like to rent some points over at Disneyland Hotel and try it out for yourself, be sure to check out our sponsors over at dvcrentalstore.com. They've got a few listings in there now for Villas at Disneyland Hotel, and members are buying this and buying the contract because it's on sale or incentives or whatever else. So they're renting out their first years of points. If you'd like to get in on some of those points, dvcrentalstore.com will definitely set you up with a member with excess points and can get you there much cheaper than the rack rate you would pay if you booked it with Disney Direct. That being said, I want to welcome our good friend of the show, our Patreon supporter, and one of my overall best Disney friends that I love traveling the world with. And I meant to join him on this trip, but it didn't happen. So let's welcome to the show, Ron Schammert. How you doing tonight, Ron?
I am outstanding, Chad, and you were certainly missed. We were certainly looking forward to hanging out with you for a little while, but we understand that scheduling conflicts happen, so we made the best of it anyway.
Yeah, what ended up happening there was my daughter talked me into a trip to a college visit in New York, which meant I had to go to Detroit back to pick her up and then take her to New York. And it was looking like I was going to be on the road, like out of 6 weekends, 5 out of 6. And it was like, this is crazy. So we ended up canceling this, and then she ended up canceling the New York trip, and I could have went anyways. But, such is life with kids, right? I think anybody who has kids and has done this crazy college planning visit tour stuff can understand. But today's show is really my deep dive catch up on this. And I know everybody else is curious as well. Ron, you're a new Villas at Disneyland Hotel owner. Give us a little bit of background here on your DVC history, points you've owned, bought, sold, and what's the shakedown on your DVC-ness?
Yeah, so I know it's not that exciting of a story, but I'll try to liven it up a little bit. No, we way back in 2015, Jackie, my lovely wife Jackie's brother, took our whole family on a trip down to Disney World. We were celebrating a number of different occasions and events within the family. So he took 15 of us down to Disney World, and we stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge Kidani. And he covered the whole thing, which was just like, wow. After getting there and
a deluxe resort.
Deluxe resort, all Savannah view, everything was it's unbelievable. We weren't a Disney family growing up, so I never visited a Disney park until I was an adult and I had children. So I don't have the extensive background of being able to compare going as a child and those memories as I do as an adult and going with my own children and now grandchildren. But with that said, once I got to Disney, I immediately fell in love with it. I don't know that there's many people who wouldn't. The overall concept of it, maybe not the lines.
At least we don't understand them if they don't. Come on, okay? Right?
Yeah. So, but not to drag out too far. After that trip, it was just really kind of eye opening. Like, how the heck did you do that, right? And be able to not have to sacrifice a college fund for one of the kids or anything like that. But and he kind of just touched a little bit on the DVC and how it is, what it is, and how it works. And so from that point, it was always in my brain, and I was kind of looking at it and contemplating it. And the end of 2019, when Jackie and I found out we were going to become grandparents, it came way further to the front of my brain than in the back.
That's
of my
a motivating
mind.
factor, right?
It certainly was. It certainly was. So unbeknownst to her, I went out, and for Christmas that year, although it didn't close until a little bit afterward, but put the contract offer in and had everything all set to go for a Saratoga contract, 200 points. And that was through the awesome Jody at DVC Resale Market. And a quick little story about that for anybody who is not familiar with DVC Resale Market or the whole world of DVC. that was one of the easiest experience I ever encountered when I was looking to purchase what may be a anxiety ridden affair, right? You're going for a major purchase and it's like, oh, here comes the hard sale, especially when you hear the word timeshare, right? Because theoretically that's what we're talking about. But Jody couldn't have been more accommodating, more comforting. In fact, at one point she advised me, don't no, you know what? Sleep on it. You don't want to make this decision without at least giving it some serious thought, because I had a million questions. So
You ended
I'm
up,
very appreciative of that.
right?
What's that?
So you ended up buying Saratoga.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, let me get going. Saratoga, we bought 200. That didn't seem to be enough. So then consequently, I planned a couple big trips, so I needed more points. Ended up purchasing a fully loaded Vero contract to help with the big trip that we scheduled for the 50th anniversary. Purchased more Saratoga, purchased more Vero, Grand Floridian went on sale direct, so sold the Vero, sold one of the Saratogas in order to get those direct Grand Floridian points at those crazy deals they were giving. And fast forward, when Disneyland Hotel came out, certainly wanted to take advantage of that and get some points there. So we went from at one point owning 880 points combined, but some of those were just short term because contracts were in the mix. But and now we're just down to we have a small Vero contract. We still have some Saratoga points, Grand Floridian, and Disneyland Hotel. That's
Okay.
where I'm at.
So up until this time, you guys were pretty much worlders, right?
Correct.
Now, was this your first visit to Disneyland or first visit as DVC members?
First visit as DVC members. We did go for my 50th birthday. Well, Jackie and my birthday are only about 3 weeks apart. So back in when we both turned 50, back in 2019, we did about 8 days in Disney World for her birthday in February. Came home for 4 days and shot out to the West Coast to Disneyland for my 50th in 2019. And my godfather lived in Pasadena, so we just stayed with him and drove down for the day. So a very, very different experience. So, but this was only my second time on Disneyland property.
Okay, cool. Now, how long was this trip?
This was a 5-day trip. 5 days.
Okay. And 5-day trip, the whole entire time at Villas?
Yeah, we took the whole time at Villas. I did contemplate, I know we chatted about it at one point when there was availability at Grand Cal. I was thinking about maybe grabbing a few days and split it up. But those days were quickly gone. So I ended up at
you don't have
Villas.
time to think about that. When there's availability at Grand Cal, you either book it or you lose. Okay.
Yeah. And that's what happened. And that's fine. So this trip, we were very fortunate. We were able to book the Duo Studio, the Garden version variety, which was pretty amazing. Not going to lie. Yeah, not perfect, but no room is. So, but I'll tell you the balcony that we had, because we were on the second floor, the balcony was just unbelievable. It was probably as big, if not maybe a smidge bigger than the living space inside. So pretty incredible.
Oh, wow. Huge balcony then. So
huge.
Yeah, for a balcony, but it sounds like the inside was a little tight for a Duo.
Yeah, it was. And we had stayed in the Tower Studio at Riviera last July. So we had a little bit of a comparison with the only other Duo, right, that Disney created. Being that the towers have that little bit of that, what is it, that curve to them, so there's a little bit of a fan effect, so the room can look a little bit bigger, whereas this one's pretty boxy. But quite honestly, the weather wasn't the greatest when we were there, but if this was a summertime trip where the weather was outstanding, the balcony, which we still made use of it, would have been more than enough.
Yeah, normally Disneyland, the weather is always spectacular in Southern California.
Yeah. So if it were the normal weather pattern, it would have been more than made up for the lack of space inside the Duo.
Yeah, well, I've been to the Villas 2 or 3 trips so far, and I got to tell you, like those deluxe garden studios, I don't know that I'm going to go Duo. I might if it's just me. But if I've got Lincoln with me or one of the kids, I'm definitely going to come back in and get the deluxe studio. And I'm definitely booking those garden views for my birthday trips every year. Yeah. So every July, you can expect me to be booking at least a garden studio or 2 of them if my whole family comes.
Sure.
Right. They'll probably shoot me because they'll want a 1-bedroom, but maybe I'll do a 1-bedroom and a duo then, so that we at least get the little, you know, balcony,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
yeah, and so Gina
Exactly.
is saying that this is why we have 11 months, and absolutely positively
Mhm.
because those Garden View studios are going to be gone in 11 months. There's only like 3 of each.
Yeah.
3, what is
Yeah.
it? 3, maybe 4 at most of
Think
each.
3, possibly 4. I'm picturing there's 8
It was yeah, it
total.
was like
There's
3
8
stairs
total.
and
Yeah.
2, right?
Yep. Correct.
So
Correct.
okay, so there's at most 4 of each, and
Yeah.
you know,
That's
with
not a lot.
up and down. But
That's not a
yeah,
lot.
that pool view there and
Oh,
overlooking it. I never thought I'd like the pool view, but now what did you think of the pool view and the noise at night?
so not a problem. And again, I probably don't have a very good reference, right? Being that it was chilly. And I did make sure I went into the pool so I could say I swam on the trip, but it was chilly. Uh, and for anybody who was always wondering, the pools are definitely heated. I took a short video that I shared on Facebook. I think the first morning that we woke up, and literally we're overlooking the pool and the splash pad. I mean, they're both right in front of us because we happen to be right in the
Yeah,
middle.
yeah.
And the steam was coming off the water in the morning. It was like 6:45 in the morning. There was no one around. I'm just taking a video of the steam floating off of the water, and yeah, that water was pretty nice. But once you got out, a little chilly. So as far as the noise is concerned, it was
Didn't
fine
hear
for
it
us because
because it
there
was
was not
probably
a
a
lot of
little too
activity.
cold
Yeah,
for the
there was
kids
not
to
a
get
lot
out
of
there and
activity.
play.
Correct.
Even with the water being heated, it's kind of
Correct.
on, but it's just there to like check a box, I think. No one's
Correct.
really using it in December, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. That makes sense to me. So, what's your initial thoughts as an owner then of your new home resort? Did you go tour the, the normal rooms and the 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom while you were there?
Yeah, great question. So when we first walked in, and for being the first time being at Disneyland Hotel, I had never been to Disneyland Hotel before, period, let alone with the new tower. So I had to kind of acclimate how to get where, because some things were cut off because some of the main pool areas under construction with the monorail slide and everything was not functional. Everything is under construction, so we had to kind of go around some fencing. But we got to the tower. Very
That's
cool. What's that?
that's a snafu thing. That's situation normal, man. There's
Yeah.
something always going on at that pool at
Hmm.
Disneyland
Hmm.
Hotel, right? There,
Yeah.
you're always thinking you're going to go one way, and then even on the same trip, they'll block it off, and you'll have to redivert the other way. You can cut through the pool, you can't cut through the pool.
Right. Right.
It's just 20 levels of crazy at Disney. Everything is so tight and shoehorned in.
It really is. It really is. I mean, which some people might be an appeal for, but for other people, it might just feel too congested. But there are some distinct differences. One, you like you say, cutting through the pool, which is the shortest route from the garden, right, to get to the main buildings. Well, if it's before the pool is open or after it's closed, your key won't even open the gate to get through. So you're forced
Yeah.
to go through and go around. Yeah. So that's one thing that's wasn't the most convenient.
No,
That I
especially if
was
you're hauling all of your luggage.
correct.
Because you got to
Correct.
haul it a ways to get to that gate, only to
Yeah.
realize, oh, pool deck is closed. I can't cut through here.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. So that was, but my initial first impression was very pleased with the overall atmosphere. A little tight, like you said, but being from the city, I don't mind. Tight is normal for us. We're on top of
Yeah.
each other most of the time anyway. So no complaints whatsoever about the amenities or the resort itself. The room was outstanding. We did get to view when we first walked in. We got the guides were right there, and one of the guys asked us if we want to go check out a 2-bedroom. I said, well, that would be a yes. I mean, our luggage was still in our hands, and we didn't even get up to our room yet. So we went and checked out a 2-bedroom that they were showing, and that's what we consequently have booked in. We had this booked already before the trip. We have for December. We have a 2-bedroom booked for the family, so we got to see it, and wow, it's impressive. So
Yeah.
overall, first impression of the resort is it's very nice, but not without some issues which I'll bring up.
Okay. Now, my family has a 2-bedroom booked as well in July, and it'll be my family's first trip there.
Mhm.
So they haven't even seen the tower. They've barely been over to Disneyland Hotel.
Mhm.
So this will be their first exposure to it. They loved Grand Cal,
Yeah.
and you know, they were kind of sad that we sold the Grand Cal points. I'm very sad we sold the Grand
Yeah.
Cal points, but it is what it is, and it ended
Yeah.
up working out because I needed the money to buy the house here. But
Right.
so I can't look back and cry over it, although I wish I had it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now, did you make it over to the Grand Cal, to the lobby area, the
Yeah.
pool,
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things, it was, for those who aren't aware, it was my 55th birthday trip, which is the reason we were there. So on our last evening, we were hanging around Grand Cal because we had Napa Rose dinner reservation. So, which was a pretty amazing experience too. They do it right
Napa
there.
Roses?
Yeah.
I think it beats anything we got here in Disney World.
I don't know if I would go that far, but it was very nice. It was a great experience. It was a great experience. But so we got to hang around Grand Cal. Definitely, I probably thought this before going there, but it was confirmed upon walking through it. It has a bit of a wilderness lodge vibe
Mhm.
to it, but not quite as outdoorsy, if you will.
Yeah, a little more mission, arts and
Yeah,
crafts,
yeah,
refined,
exactly.
wildernessy, but it's still, yes, the
We
redwood forest version
Yes,
is
yeah, kind
strong
of
there.
the Pacific Northwest still theme, but
Yep.
more the forest and not necessarily the like the Wilderness Lodge. But the one thing I would say is that gate to the California Adventure Park right there in Grand Cal, that's pretty awesome. Like
That's
having a
pretty
theme
awesome.
park gate
Now,
in
did you
your
use the
resort.
Pixar Pier entrance into California Adventure?
So we hung out. We spent one of our off days. We spent a long time at Pixar Place, and that just all got redone as well. And
Mhm.
it is gorgeous, man. Did you walk over there when you were
Oh, I've
there?
stayed there.
Oh, you did.
So, yeah, for
That
a Moonlight Magic, one of
Okay.
the first set of refurb rooms.
Okay.
Matter of fact, Dave and I went, and Frederica met us there, and she
Okay.
used points to get us a room there as well. So, yes, I've stayed there. It's phenomenal.
Oh,
And Dave and I had our own kind of room. She had hers, and
yeah.
everybody loved it. And I had always heard that it was an Oriental designed hotel and it was made for small Oriental people. And
Mhm.
Dave's 6+, and
Yeah, he's a big dude.
he's a big guy. And we did not have like comfort issues there at all.
Okay.
So we were very happy with what we had, what we got.
Yeah.
The Pixar theming was just over the top inside the room. The outside wasn't completely done yet, nor was the
Mhm.
lobby.
Okay.
But yeah, it was A+.
Well, make sure you walk over there again when you're there because that lobby, now that it's all completed and some of the stained glass mosaic types things that they man, it's impressive. I would stay there. Like if I couldn't get a room at the Disneyland Tower or if I didn't want to stay at the hotel or Grand Cal was booked, I would stay at Pixar Place in a heartbeat. It was
Yeah, our
impressive.
buddy Rye is saying that the Redwood Creek entrance is magical and the
Mhm.
Pixar Pier entrance is super convenient. And as Disneyland Hotel owners or staying at the Disneyland Hotel, we can use the Pixar Pier entrance into DCA as well. So our room key will get us in there. We'll
Okay.
tend to sneer at you a little bit at rope dropping at Grand Cal because they're like, no, this is for Grand Cal only people.
Yeah.
But during the day, you can use the Grand Cal one when it's not crowded for rope drop. But
Yeah.
you can
Okay.
use the rope drop in the morning over at the Pixar Pier one from the villas.
Interesting. I was not aware of that, so that's something I'll know for the next time.
Yeah, yeah. So that is super awesome. You almost have to know where it is where you're looking.
Yeah.
And there's a little, like if you go towards the Grand Cal, there's a little door off to the right, a little pathway. And
Okay.
that'll take you into kind of, well, you come out between Goofy Sky Coaster and like
Uh-huh.
what I consider the Coco themed area. Right?
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
right there, kind of almost from the Zephyrs is where you come out at. And yeah, so we absolutely love that as well. And Gina says, I just use the monorail to enter Disneyland and go straight to the DVC lounge.
We did take the monorail in for when we went into Disneyland. We did in the morning. Plus it was raining. So that's like a ride in and of itself. That's not like the monorail at World. There's some distinct differences, but I think we're going to go into some of those here in pretty soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the pro way to roll there, Gina, is you just roll the monorail in with your AP, go straight to the DVC lounge, get the free coffee, the soda, all that kind of stuff. And then you come back in and contemplate what you're going to do with the rest of your day.
Yeah.
And so Frederico was saying Pixar Pier is more expensive to stay at Grand Cal because it's a collection rental. That's if you use points to go through the official DVC direct point exchange. I think if you just pay cash, it's probably cheaper, but
yeah.
And Rye says we just need a separate entrance to Disneyland. I guess we can't have it all. Well, we do have the monorail, right? So,
and wait, there's a lot of good news coming out of Anaheim. Who knows? In the future, we may just get what we're asking for. Who knows?
Yeah, we very well may, because they're going to extend the theme park and take down our parking lots, and they're just going to build it all around us. So, yeah, I think we might have to tunnel in to get to through a theme park to get to our hotel. But there's some pretty awesomeness to be having a hotel in the middle of a theme park. I think that's what we all love about Grand Cal as well. And like a true DVC member, what's cash for a hotel?
That's funny.
That's funny. That's funny. And yeah, this is why we have these shows. We all want to go back home. And when we can't be there, we at least get to hear war stories of people with recent trips and visits.
Yeah.
So, Ron, what were some of your other notable comparisons or contrasts? Because you're a worlder who now owns a little piece of the land. So what's some of the other takeaways here? Okay.
So there's one major takeaway that I was able to thankfully meet up with Gina. She was able to come while we were at California Adventure Park. So we were chatting, hung out for a good portion of the afternoon and into the evening. And I shared my frustrations with her about this. So anyone who is a worlder and is accustomed to being able to get a delivery to your resort and then you just go pick it up, you need to do a little different type of planning if you're going to the Disneyland Hotel. Now, I can't speak for if it's the same way at Grand Cal or if it's the same way at Pixar Place, but I can tell you definitively at the Disneyland Hotel, Jackie, in her rush to pack because she did not pre-pack as well as she normally does, forgot her bathing suit. So we were at the airport at O'Hare getting ready to board, and she realized she forgot it and ordered it on Amazon. It was going to be there the next day. Perfect. Well, Amazon kind of screwed up, so it didn't get there the next day, but it did arrive the second day. So we go to the front desk. She got the alert that Amazon, the package was delivered. We go to the front desk, and they're saying, "Oh, we don't have a package for you." So, and for those who aren't aware, because I was not aware of this either, there's no front desk at the Disneyland Hotel Tower, like the DVC Tower. You have to
you got to go over to the hotel
to
side.
the main hotel, to the main desk. So they no package. I said, well, how is that possible? We got the delivery notification. Oh, well, it's probably in security. I said, what does that mean? Evidently, only about 5% of the packages delivered to the Disneyland Hotel actually get directly to the Disneyland Hotel. 95% of them go to an off-site security location where it has to be screened.
Oh,
and then it will be transferred to the actual resort. So I don't want to say I lost it, but I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I was mad, and I'm walking through the lobby. I'm like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So it's somewhere. It's a bathing suit, and we can't get it till the following day. They said it won't be here till tomorrow. So, okay, I kind of vented a little bit. Was walking back to the room. I walked through the area where the DVC guides are, and of course they're, how's your day going? Well, it was better till about 5 minutes ago. So I kind of went through the scenario with them. They were dumbfounded. They didn't know that was a process. A couple of them, I think one of them did. There was about 3 or 4 of them there, and I mean, it got to the point where I explained it. They tried calling, to advocate on my behalf, like, hey, isn't there anything we can do? They told them virtually the same thing that we were told.
Pound sand. This is our
Yeah.
process. We're sticking to it.
Right. But yeah, the great thing is the guide who I was originally speaking with basically just said, hey, go get your wife. We're going to go. She needs a bathing suit. We got you. We're going to buy you a bathing suit. And that certainly, I said, no, thank you. But that's not the intent. We don't want any free stuff. We just want to understand the process. But I guess to make a long story short, too late. If you are going to have anything delivered, please be aware that the policy is very much different than the policy at Disney World.
Yeah,
Like night
no
and day.
kidding. So I wonder if they do the same thing on grocery deliveries as well, because that would seem like hard with perishable stuff in groceries. You would think.
Yeah, we asked that and they didn't answer. I was probably mad at the time. They didn't want to talk to me. So
yeah, I have not had good luck with the Disneyland Hotel front desk with parking fees. I've been charged for parking 100% of the times. It's been fighting tooth and nail to get them to take it off. So yeah, first time I had a lot of grace because it was opening weekend. I'm like, okay. They don't have, this is their first ever DVC person staying on points tonight.
Yeah.
Like you get a pass, right? The next trip, same story. I'm just not impressed with them. I don't think their cast members are anywhere near on par as we are here in Orlando. That's just my own bias. I'll take the heat from the Californians if you guys disagree. That's perfectly fine. But I know our Orlando team bends over backwards. And So that was unfortunate.
That's one big difference on the positive side. And I am I'm probably a worlder more at heart. I love the wide open spaces, being able to have to travel to different theme parks and resorts. But the proximity, everything being so close, everything is walking distance.
Oh, I love that.
That's pretty awesome. Not going to lie. It's almost like you're at, heck, that's even better than Beach Club or Boardwalk, because you don't have to walk as far to Hollywood Studios, right? The theme parks being so close, the gates are literally if you're a couple stones throws away. So it's just an amazing experience for that.
There's no wasted space between attractions. They have used every square inch.
It's tight. But in a good way. It's easy to get to everything. One of the things that's a little different than World, I went down to the Sundry or whatever you'd call the store in the resort because I like coffee creamer. I like half and half for my coffee. So I'm going down there and they don't have like anything grocery wise, really. I mean, virtually nothing. And I'm like, how can they not have that? I don't understand it. So I ask him, where do you get creamer? That, there's a Walgreens or something about 50 feet off property. So all you really got to do, because I forget, at World, you're in the bubble. At Land, you're in the neighborhood.
Well, the other thing is, DVC resorts specifically stock all of those type food, milk, bread, eggs, frozen stuff for the frozen pizzas, that kind of deal. We have a food thing built for that because we all have kitchenettes or full-blown kitchens. That's kind of a new thing to California. And even in California, you don't come there for a week like you do here in Walt Disney World.
Right.
So there's not as many people buying that stuff. They're like, we're here 2 days or so. We'll just go eat at the restaurants. And so that's kind of what I think is going on is they're not used to the long haul DVC people.
Sure.
So they don't stock the stuff for us.
Yeah.
But I think that's a fair observation that Worlders should know when they go to the Land.
Yep.
And we didn't have a clue either because we booked 7 nights at our first Grand Cal stay. And by day 3, my family was like, right? Because you can knock everything out with Fast Pass. Well, it was Fast Pass Plus at the time, or Max Pass, because we had to pay for it there. But you can knock it all out in 3 days there at that park. And at that point in time, you're just going back and hitting your favorites. You're doing slow stuff. You're doing making sure you hit every single night show that there is, and probably your favorite one twice as well. And
One of the other things that I think would be considered a positive is the necessity for having to book reservations for dining. Like we are emphatic when we go to World. We're at the 60-day window
Mhm.
at we're up at like 4:30 in the morning to book at 5 our time here to get our reservations for the tough to get ones, and a lot of openings. It doesn't seem like it's that hard to get reservations. Not that some aren't are available, but it certainly isn't the same
yeah,
arduous task.
I think at the land, the hot places book
Right.
out at 60 days
Mhm.
like that. Okay. The medium places, you're still going to find some availability, and the meh places are going to always have availability.
Mhm.
That's kind of my take on it, is
Sure.
because like if you want to go to like the new Tiana's restaurant, that's been pretty
Yeah.
difficult to book. And then the one inside of Pirates is super, super,
The Blue
hard
Bayou.
to get. And I think there's another one that's right on Main Street that's a cafe. And that one's a little bit more difficult to get.
Mhm.
So there's a few of them there that you really got to be on if you're going to get.
Mhm.
But my take is, now that I've done them,
Right.
I don't have to do them again. And so I'd rather just roll with, quick service, or because I find the quick service in Disneyland to be phenomenal.
It's
It
great.
is, yeah, all of the food in Disneyland is like 10 times better than Florida.
Well, and
And
and just to touch on that, Chad, with downtown Disney being where it's at, and the ability to have all those outstanding potential restaurants to be able to eat at, or just grab up something from one of the places there, and not having to get on a bus to do so like Disney
yeah,
Springs, that's another advantage if you don't need reservations. We ate at the burger joint there one of the nights. It was phenomenal. I forget, they had shakes with like pieces of cake on top of them. It was pretty
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The caked
black.
up shakes with the,
Yeah, cake shake.
yeah, there's so much stuff on top. You're
Oh
like,
my gosh,
yeah.
crazy.
And Rye is also pointing out here that he loves the DVC discount for the quick service at Disneyland. Come on, Walt Disney World, get with it.
Yeah, that was going to
I
touch
love
on
the
that.
fact that they've got to scan your card in Disneyland. So they
Yes,
know who's
yes,
buying what.
yes.
And let's take some of these eBayers off the market. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? With, hey, you've already bought 2 of this SKU. That's enough. And
Yeah.
and
So I
so
brought that up
Jamie
to
is
G
saying that
sorry,
they
Jamie.
like the Blue Bayview enough, wasn't in love with Lamplight Lounge like I
Got it.
wanted to be. And Jamie, the piggy wings there is my favorite thing to get there. They're like little tiny shanks of, like, they call them piggy wings. They're pork, but they're cut like they're a chicken wing, and they're little barbecue pieces of pork, and those are to die for. Gina is saying that place is called Black Tap.
Yeah, the
that you
Black
got
Tap
the burgers
burger
at as
joint.
well.
Yep.
And yeah, so so that's some other pro tips that we've learned there as well. And my other big gripe, and I think I told you to pack your Magic Band Pluses
Yes.
before you come.
Yeah.
Like Disneyland, folks, Magic Bands, they rock. They're
Yeah.
so easy to tap in with. You don't have
Yeah.
to fumble with your phone and come back in and get a QR code. You tap and you go. Like,
Yeah.
come on, let's get going here, folks. Tap and go, tap and go. Like,
Yeah.
there's always a big lineup of people just blocking the fast pass lanes.
It-
It's just like,
and it doesn't even let you get in the room. You can't use it for your door.
yeah. Well, that's the other thing that
I mean, come on.
they've got to
Uh.
get their Magic Band Plus up to speed on. But at
Yeah.
least now that it works in the parks,
Yeah.
Disneyland people, hear me, like, please just either step aside or get a Magic Band, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I'll tell you, Chad. But with that said, I was bringing it up to Jackie. I think I brought it up to Gina when we were chatting. I'm like, if you could take the good of the technology at Disney World and the good that they have at land, and merge them, if they could actually come together,
yeah.
it'd be a pretty darn impressive system. Because what, like you said, whoever mentioned quick serve, the discount automatically comes up when you put in a mobile order. It's on there for you.
Yeah.
It's-
That's awesome.
That's amazing. Scanning the code, that's amazing. We have it available. So Disney World, please talk to Disneyland and vice versa, and let's make a baby and call it the Great IT system. Okay, let's just get it done.
Yeah, that's wishful thinking
I
there,
know.
Ron.
I know.
Disneyland, Disney, IT, like you just, yeah. Okay. The fairy tale of Disneyland IT is that it works well. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the latest fairy tale there, and is
Yeah.
well. So
You mean now
Rye
that
asked, does VDH have refillable mugs? Why doesn't Anaheim have refillable mugs? And
no,
the
no,
answer
it's
is
yeah,
no.
yeah. We
Now,
asked.
did you make it to Trader Sam's while you were there, Ron?
Absolutely. The day we arrived, we hit Trader Sam's. We had I think about a 4 o'clock reservation. We got there at the 2 hour time difference. We got there, we just hung out a little bit and then we walked around Disney, downtown Disney, and then hit Trader Sam's. And let's just say, even as a non-drinker, Trader Sam's never disappoints. It just never
No,
disappoints.
it really doesn't.
But it's still a very different experience inside of the land Trader Sam's than the World Trader Sam's. It feels like the World Trader Sam's, there's a lot more activity, there's a lot more action, probably a lot more people buying the drinks that have all of the animatronics going off and everything. But they did a great job with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's smaller, it's tighter, it's more
Yeah.
compact, it's more
Yeah.
intimate in Disney World,
Way more.
which you think would be the opposite.
Yep.
And I know I have been hoping they would move Trader Sam's to like a rooftop experience over at the new tower, but we haven't heard any rumors of it. Nobody's looked at plans or leaked anything. So to me, the upper deck there is probably just Grand Villas or something like that, because we would have heard about it by now. So
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, it would have to be out by now. We would have known.
yeah, definitely out by now. So Ron, let's wrap up on this question here. Are you happy with your purchase at Villas at Disneyland? Would you do it all over again if you had to do it over again?
So that is a great question. And my initial response is yes, with a little bit of an explanation. I would do it because I know that we're going to want to be able to have preferred booking for California throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
I think after seeing both resorts and never having stayed at Grand Cal and now having stayed, and it's a limited experience, right? I need to go a few times before I can give a true educated approach. And as you stated, they have not even been open for a full year. So there's going to be some bugs that they're working out, some kinks to work through. So I am happy with the purchase. I do hope that they make some adaptations and improvements, as they tend to do in any type of new resort, that they improve upon it. But if I initially had the opportunity, just right now, first impressions, if you would have asked me to choose between Grand Cal and Disneyland Tower, I probably would prefer Grand Cal if I had the choice of the two.
For buying or for booking?
Well,
both.
Probably both, because for buying, that's going to give you the 11-month window. For just booking, it's the 7 months. So I would want the 11-month advantage, because as everyone knows, it's very difficult to get Grand Cal at 7 months.
Yeah, that's true. And Frederica makes a comment here that Grand Cal is in dire need of a hard refurb. She goes, but I still love my home. And yes, they've been putting it off, and those rooms definitely need the refurb. But I'm with you. I wish I would have kept my Grand Cal. And although I know I couldn't have, so things would not have worked out the way they did, but I'm still okay with it. And I'm hoping with Disneyland Forward, I learn to love this purchase a little bit more. Because every time I go there, I like the resort just a little bit more, little bit more. It's honestly, it wasn't something like Copper Creek or Animal Kingdom or Polynesian that I just walk into and I'm like, oh, this is home. I love it.
Right.
Did you have that similar?
Yeah, same type of feeling. I mean, it's. I don't want anyone to be misunderstand. I loved it. It's a great resort. It's a great experience. It's just, being the worlders that we are, and how often we've gone in the last 4 to 5 years and stayed at all the different every world resort we've stayed at, and to compare the two, it's just not a fair comparison right now. I think, to your point, Chad, I know that every time I go, there'll be something more I'll like about it, or they'll make an
Mhm.
improvement that it's going to just elevate the experience. But for the initial first impression, I don't regret the purchase. I'm very happy that we have it. Um, I just, like I say, I hope that they are listening, and I hope that they, try to make some of these suggested improvements, because there's so much to love about it. I think Gina just popped up about that Palm Breeze bar area, which is right at the pool and the splash pad. I
That
mean, for
was not
parents,
open on my
oh
first trip, but it was the second and third.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so liking it more and more and more every
yeah,
time that I go. And
yeah.
I
It's great.
wish they would divide the pool area up so we
Yeah.
could cut straight through to Palm Breeze and straight through to our tower and not have to go around the pool at night when you come home after 10,
Correct,
right?
because of the gates being locked and you can't get through. Yes,
Just come
exactly.
back in and close off both pool gates. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? You've got
Yep.
both sides staffed with lifeguards anyways. Why does it matter? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, the thing to do is not complain here on social media or shows or this, but to really go to DVC and give them some feedback directly. I just sent in something
Mhm.
this week that I was like, hey, this is a pretty fair criticism, and I think you guys should take a look at it. And,
Yeah.
I got back the canned response, and that's all you'll ever get back. But
Thank you. Thank you for your
that's
thank
at
you for
least the
your
most
input. Yeah.
appropriate place to come back in and do it. We can commiserate here as members, but
Yeah.
if you really want them to change, don't rely on them listening to our show and doing anything.
No,
They have
no.
official feedback forums. Let's be sure to use it.
Yeah, and as a group, that's the only way. There's only the power if we do it as a group and we all kind of get together. And not that everyone has to have the same opinion or feedback, but just whatever your feedback is, make sure you give it, because that's the only avenue we have, like you said.
Yeah, going back through our comments here, was Phantasmic back?
It was not. No.
So no Phantasmic back.
Nope.
And then, just out of curiosity, did you try Roscoe's Chicken and
I did
Waffles?
not. I did not. Where is that at? It's downtown
There's
Disney?
several locations around. I'm
Okay.
told the one by Anaheim by Disneyland is better than the one by the airport. And
Okay.
I'm not a fan of the one by the airport. If I never go to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles again in my life, I'll be a happy camper. I've had better
Which-
chicken and waffles than the original person who put it on the menu and made it famous. But
Gotcha.
it's
we
just
did-
chicken tenders with waffles. It's a
Yeah.
great combination.
Speaking of airports, though, I'd like to touch on that real quick. The experience flying, we flew into John Wayne, Santa Barbara, right?
Yeah, SNA. Yep.
SNA, yeah.
Orange
Santa
County.
Ana. Yeah, the John Wayne Airport. And boy, what an amazing experience that was. It was remember being from Chicago and having to go through O'Hare or Midway, and then being able to fly into, that I don't want to say it's a tiny, but
It's a tiny airport.
comparatively, it's a small airport. We're walking through security. It's like, where's the gate? And Jackie points right there. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It's like, wait, what? So that was a pretty cool experience. But I guess there's some pretty strict limitations in Orange County as to when flights can take off and when they can land. So I guess if you're flying in and you're going to go into an Orange County airport and you have a flight that, if there's any potential for delays, will land after a particular time frame, you're not going to have a flight, because I don't think by ordinance they're allowed to land like after 10 p.m. or earlier than a particular time. So that's just kind of a little tidbit to know too, if you're at the cusp of that for your flight.
Yeah, that's good information there. And just so everybody knows, for the worlders that are tuning in, SNA or LGB Long Beach are the two airports you want to go into when going to Disneyland. Yes, you can go to LAX, but it is an hour plus haul, and it'll take you an hour to get off the plane and get to your rental car. At minimum of an hour. It is so nutso crazy compact. So it's like, get off the plane and you're about 2.5 hours from Disneyland. Whereas if you get off the plane at SNA or John Wayne, you're about 35, 40 minutes from Disneyland with a 20-minute Uber ride as well.
Yeah.
So it's really just that much easier. I would rather change planes now than to get a straight flight to LAX. And it's not even a comparison. The only time I'll do it is if I'm looking at the prices, and LAX is usually cheaper.
Yeah.
Like $200 a flight. If it's just me, I still might pay it. But if it's the whole family, I got to suck it up, buttercup, because that would be like $1,000. And you just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
as well. And so just some of the other comments that came in tonight is they can't, looks like Nick is saying, can't wait for the West End
Yes.
options of Disneyland, downtown Disneyland to open up. And that's them expanding out like another downtown Disney area. And yeah, it'd be nice if they connected it all by monorail and then put a monorail stop in DCA.
Downtown.
That would be completely awesome. And yes, Rye,
In and
In-N-Out
there,
is the official like stopping point when I go to California. That is like the number one place from the airport, In-N-Out. Okay, now we can start our California vacation because that is the official California welcome.
Yes, it
center.
is.
If you
Yes,
ask
it
me,
is.
you have to go to In-N-Out. And so Michael is saying he did a split stay at the end of January. I thought the studio at Disneyland Hotel was very well laid out. What I didn't like was not having a balcony.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more because I did not have one on either of my stays as well. Frederica saying it's about a 3/4 mile walk.
Roscoe's.
Anaheim is second best if you didn't like the one on Manchester. I probably just don't like Roscoe's. I like chicken, eggs, and grits. And yeah, so that's where the Roscoe's is. And Jamie is saying we flew from Philly to Long Beach and we're absolutely amazed when we landed and everything was so cute and small and non-chaotic. Yeah, that's what I was telling you. SNA, Long Beach, you'll thank us later.
Oh, yeah.
Because LA traffic and LAX is just plain nuts.
Yeah.
And nuts.
Yeah.
Like it's the Uber ride's not even that expensive from either one of those two small airports to Disneyland. So it could be $100 or more to go from LAX to Disneyland. And at that point in time, you're looking at it like, well, I might as well rent a car because I, in theory, should get free parking. Although that's never really happened to me. I've had to fight for it every time. But
that's the other thing. Yeah. Just get it right. Just get it right. The period. I would just want to jump in with Michael. If you do get a chance to book the Garden Studios with those balconies Chad and I referenced earlier in the show, it's game changing. I mean, if you can get one of those, it will change the entire experience. And that's that was cool. Like I say, if it was a different time of year and we were able to utilize everything to its full capacity, it would have been a little bit of a different feel for this trip. And again, it was still a great trip, but there is definitely things that would have made it even better.
Yeah, well, I think my plan is 2025 in July. I'm going to go book something for several days for my birthday in a garden studio. We'll see if my family wants to join me or not. They probably won't because they're all coming to Disneyland this year. They like to take a break from it. And it's my life, right? It's all my friends are going. Gina's there. Like Vicky's there. We have a whole crew that kind of park hops together. And, we're now doing international park hops as well with 2025.
Very cool.
Trip to Disneyland Paris. So so that's kind of going on for that. And I think that pretty much wraps up our show. And I want to thank all of our sponsors at World of DVC for all of their continued support, which would be DVC Resale Market, DVC Rental Store, and Monera Financial. Huge shout out of thanks to Jody as well, who did pop into the stream. And, thanks for taking care of Ron. And he is paying you back with lots of references. And we'll just throw Jody's name up as well. If you're looking to buy or sell, Jody serves our community exceptionally well, along with everybody there. But Jody comes and joins our live shows here. So I think she gives a little bit more to the community than anybody else does there. We've got about 4 or 5 of them that join our shows and contribute there. So we always like doing a huge shout out of thanks to them for helping us create content to serve you guys. And as well, thank you to our Patreon supporters as well. If our shows and our free content have been a blessing to your life, please do business with our sponsors. And if you're not in the mood to buy or sell, or it's just not the right time, but you want to come back in and help us out, patreon.com/mydvcpoints. We have a little tip jar there. Ron, thank you for being a member for well over a year now as well. I've got a special gift for the Patreons when I get to meet up with you in the park. And so far, feedback on it has been exceptionally cool. And we'll just say you're becoming members of the Yellow Strap Club. And some really cool
rides. Ride straps. Okay.
Yeah, I turned them into a keychain, Ron. And So
Very
they are exceptionally cool, and the feedback
Nice.
has been over the top. Next time I'll have one and pull one up. But yeah, thanks
Cool.
for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back probably in a week or so because we'll see if this spring break trip looks like it's going to happen. And I know we'll be dark for Easter Sunday, which is coming up. So it could be a couple Sundays before you see us, but we'll definitely be here. And if you could, drop us a like, a subscribe, a follow on whatever social media, and share out our show as well. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you found something in today's episode that'll help your family plan something magical at the Villas at Disneyland Hotel. Have a great night. We'll catch you soon.
Good night.
Night, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, please watch your head and step as you exit, and take small children by the hand.
Aw, chill up, Dad. You know we'll come back. What DVC?
My DVC Points is an unofficial Disney-inspired podcast created by fans of Disney Vacation Club. The thoughts expressed in this podcast are personal opinions and personal experiences. My DVC Points is not affiliated with Disney Vacation Club, the Walt Disney Companies, or any subsidiaries. We encourage listeners to contact their DVC guide or member services for official DVC policies.